Hello, and welcome everyone to the Brian Grant Foundation webcast. I'm Amy LaValle, your Parkinson's Community Liaison, and for those of you who don't know, also a member of the PD community. Today, we have an extra special program. For the past 10 weeks, this amazing group of panelists have been working on creating their personal stories. It is a reflection of their experiences with Parkinson's. These profound short stories capture a sincere glimpse into what life with Parkinson's looks like for them. It's been an emotional and hopefully therapeutic journey for them, and we are all so excited to debut their labors of love. So before we get started, I'd like to encourage our audience to post any questions or comments below, as we will be talking with the storytellers throughout the session. I would like to introduce Randy Sanderson. He has been our guide, our guru, and is the executive director at Story Center Canada. Welcome, Randy. Can you tell us a little bit about this process of making these stories and why you think they're so important?
Hi, thanks, Amy. Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Rani. I run Story Center Canada, and this is our second cohort of amazing storytellers I've been really honored to get to work with. And it's a process, digital storytelling. It's a community engaged arts process that brings small groups of people together to share their personal stories in the form of these 2 to 5 minute multimedia videos that you will be watching today. And it's a great experience, I hope, for everybody. People get to share their own personal stories. They represent themselves the way that they want to. I just give them the tools, and then they take it from there and make these amazing stories. And in full disclosure, this is an extra meaningful workshop project for me because I also have Parkinson's. So getting to work with the Brian Grant Foundation and all the storytellers that I've met these 2 years so far has just been really special for me. And I hope that you all appreciate these stories and the hard work that everybody put into them as much as I do. And I'm sure you will. But thanks.
Thank you, Randy. This has just been a wonderful experience. I got to do it a second time, and I've learned more each time, and I just feel so connected to this group. I would like to welcome our first storyteller, Marlene, who is a wonderful friend in person. So, Marlene, can you tell me a little bit about what it was like creating this story?
Um, I couldn't have done it alone. Um, the help I received from Holly and Randy just gave me the courage to do it. First off, I never thought I could edit a story ever, and they helped me through every step and made it seem easy once I figured out how to use the whole system. So I want to thank them. Without them, I couldn't have done it.
Well, good. What can you tell us about your video?
Um, it is a kind of a showcase for our property that you'll see, but it's also basically a story of faith, believing that there is a future, despite what we all know is our possible. But since we're all different, everybody has a different future. It's just believing that we'll be there.
I believe in you. Are you ready to show it?
Go ahead.
All right, let's roll tape.
Daylight brings a soft light to the trees. This is my peace, my serenity. The new day has the potential of being special. I rise early so as not to miss a second. The world comes alive. Birds sing, and the coffee is heavenly. I feel good. If only I woke every day with no changes to my symptoms, no degradation to my body. First, it's meds to manage the symptoms and stretching to limber up. The things needed to manage my disease. The work today will be hard, and tomorrow my body will ache and complain. This is the exercise needed, though, to slow down the progression. My heart will pound and my lungs gasp for air as I pull brush and limbs for the clearing, for our home. I used to be able to work hard. I was strong. I was a farmer's daughter, and he taught me how to work. As the oldest of 5 girls, I was his hired man. But that was before Parkinson's. I now take breaks and rest. Jack and I work side by side, knowing we are working towards our future home. Later, we sit in front of the flames of the wood-burning stove, using the firewood we cut and stacked last year, planning for these times. It is quiet until the owls and coyotes begin the hunt for their evening meals. The moon shines, casting shadows as if it were day, and we discuss the next steps. We hope we have planned for all eventualities. Do we know them all? Building is such a lengthy process. Delays happen. Tears fill my eyes. It is taking so long, I say. Will I get to enjoy what we build? Only in the dark can I admit I am scared that the day will come where I won't be able to share this with Jack. He holds me, and I know he will be there. Another day has gone by. The daylight comes again, and I fill it with life and the people I love. Jack and my son, his family, my family. I do all this believing in my future. It will be a new way of life, different than we thought. I will live for today. I will plan for the future, and I will believe in me. I believe I will continue to breathe in the air of the forest. I believe the plans we are building will be seen, shared, and enjoyed. I believe I will feel the sun through the trees, warming my skin. That, yes, I will enjoy what we have worked so hard to build together.
The screen's changed sides on me, and I didn't have my mute button ready. Marlene, bravo. What a beautiful story. I just love how it ends with you embracing your partner. And yeah, I think having that message of believing in the struggles is going to resonate with a lot of people. Beautiful job.
Thank you.
So next up, our storyteller is Bernard. Bernard, what can you tell me about this process and what you learned from it?
Well, first, I want to begin by thanking Ronnie, Holly, and the Brian Grant Foundation for what turned out to be an opportunity. I was a little hesitant at first. I wanted to see the process, but not necessarily go through the process. Because the process itself, I realized, was going to start to force me to start peeling off some layers of the onion that I had very carefully bundled tightly and tucked away, as Denise and I have been on this journey with Mrs. Parkinson. And I had, positioned myself into a very safe zone, comfortable, and focused my attention on helping others. And then along comes this process, and this process holds up a mirror and says, no, we're looking at you. And thank you, Holly, because she kept reminding me, no, this is your story. This is not about someone else. This is your story. So it took a little bit, but I began to realize that I still play a role in reflecting others, and that the messages I wanted to get out are from a relatively quiet population, that of the care partners. And so my video comes from the perspective of a care partner on this Parkinson's disease journey. And the challenge is that we didn't choose, but they come along. As when Parkinson's hits the patient, it also gets the entire family and the community around them. And with that, I hope this multi-layered set of messages comes through in the video. So roll video.
When you plant seeds in a garden, your labor rewards you with sustaining food. My wife, Denise, has apathies, especially food apathy. This is a nightmare for a foodie like me. But since I'm not the patient, people don't want to hear my complaints. I feel so invisible at times, like the wind rustling the leaves. Not that I seek recognition, but an acknowledgement here and there would go a long way. You see, my wife got this really bad disease with no known cure. She got the diagnosis, but we, the family, and I, share the burdens. Now she doesn't care or want to eat. I prepare showcase platings like these to keep her interested in eating. She tastes the food with her eyes, and it works. Over the years, we developed great plans for our golden years, but now that ship has sailed. I'm learning to embrace our situation and invent a new me. So I introduced the Quarantine Chef. Come along, I said. Let's travel through food. Let's enjoy exciting, exotic, and uplifting, but healthy meals. Culturally appropriate music and a spinning earth globe enhance our dining journeys on the International Comfort Food Tour. I've prepared dishes from over 135 countries. To my family, the Quarantine Chef is a cult hero and a good distraction for me. But when I return from the food tour, I'm still spiraling. My emotions, my life's goals, my daily plans, and Denise's ever-evolving disease symptoms. So what if I'm covering over my life losses? Our spontaneity, intimacy, my personal time, my independence, my innocent unawareness of aging and health. I found a silver lining. Those things once thought lost are showing up now as I prepare each meal. I see them even if no one else does. They're sometimes invisible to others, just like I am as the care partner. Oh, sorry for being rude. Let me introduce you to our nemesis, Parkinson's disease. Ms. Parkinson's is an uninvited guest in our lives, a royal pain. Ironically, she has brought forth hidden artistic talents in me. She is reminding me of what's really important in my life. She has Denise and I finally working together with shared goals. And she has brought us closer together now than during our first 50 years together. My seeded garden is sustaining us.
Nard, I think this story is one that needs to be shared. So I thank you so much for focusing on you because care partners, caregivers, friends, family, they are the unsung heroes in this disease. Because when you get Parkinson's, the whole family gets it. And this is such a beautiful story. Not to mention that I'm hungry and it's lunchtime.
Thank you.
So and I absolutely loved the imagery, the boat, the ship that sailed. It was just beautiful. Thank you. So up next, we have Shri. Shri, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining this storytelling journey. Just say, there she is. Thank you for joining this storytelling journey with us. Can you tell me what surprised you the most about this creative process?
I think what surprised me the most was finding a story to choose because I have so many, and how honestly difficult it was to kind of narrow it down and pick something. In the end, I just had to pick something that worked, but I had like 3 other stories in my mind, so many things I wanted to do. I wanted to make like a mini series. So yeah, that was
Well,
pretty,
now you have the skill set to do that.
yeah.
What can you tell us about this story?
Well, in April of 2022, it was Parkinson's Awareness Month. And so I did a personal project called 30 Days of Parkinson's Disease, where I photographed myself every day and wrote like a poem or a prose piece or a journal entry about my experience with Parkinson's. Some of them are funny, some of them are a little hard to understand, but they were all part of what was going on in my brain. And then I published it on Instagram. It's no longer on Instagram. I took it down. I mean to put it back up. But this version is, I picked 3 days and the words associated with those 3 days and turned it into a little video with the help of Rani, who was amazing and gave me so many ideas that I didn't even think about.
She is wonderful. Well, thank you. Let's roll tape.
April 1st, 2022. There is only my breath at 3 a.m., coming in bursts from tremored lips, sharp black-edged letters trying to find their way, scraping the tender pink flesh inside my mouth. A blunt hammer yelling work when nothing works. My eyes close as dawn creeps in, stealing 5 minutes when there were 10. April 11th, 2022. I started with my left hand, encouraging my fingers to flow out into a lotus mudra. They did not want to listen. They curled and cramped until I gently coaxed them outward, but they were wilted. Surely my right arm will work. But it was much harder than I thought. I wasn't the same. The disease was progressing, and so my fingers and hands will move when they can. Some days I may work them hard. Other days, they are as they are. I am learning when to open and when to close. April 23rd, 2022. Breaking news. The personal assistant for the suprachiasmatic nucleus, who disappeared last Sunday, has been found. When asked about their boss's whereabouts, the response given was as follows. I can neither confirm nor deny the location of the suprachiasmatic nucleus. I can only say that I saw SN getting into a black Lamborghini with the optic chiasm and heard a mention of Bali and something about needing sleep and relaxation. Incoming wire. We have a report that since we shared this information 5 minutes ago, tickets to Bali have been sold out and a group of shaky zombies seems to be converging in major airports worldwide. And now, on to Saturday's Home and Garden Update. We will be talking about the latest craze in nightshade vegetables. Oh dear.
Could relate, like that feeling, that anxiety that you kind of get from that video. I could totally relate. What a beautiful job. I mean, so artistic, visually stimulating. Thank you, Shri, for sharing that, being so vulnerable.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. It's my honor.
Thank you. Next up, we have Jeff. So, Jeff, what can you share about this process and why you chose the story you did?
You know, the process in and of itself was fascinating. I didn't realize I'm newly diagnosed. I just celebrated my 1 year anniversary last week. And I didn't realize how many emotions that I had buried down were still just right under the surface. And so this gave me the opportunity to process through many of those. And much like other people have said, there's so many stories to choose from. And I chose this one because it was really the first time that I had to mentally acknowledge that something really serious was wrong with me. So we can roll tape. I think that'll be a good intro.
All right, I can't wait.
Okay.
The sun beat down, turning Sturgeon Rock into a furnace. Sweat beaded on my brow, blurring the view of the churning Snake River below. It was my 52nd birthday, a day I'd envisioned celebrating with a leap off of Sturgeon Rock. Yet here I was, mid-climb, muscles betraying, leaving me scared and confused. Each handhold felt slicker than the last. My left arm wouldn't cooperate, tremoring slightly, making it hard to grip. My legs seemed hesitant, the familiar rhythm of the climb replaced by a frustrating stutter. I felt like I was on glass, and I was sure I was going to fall. I froze with fear. The frustration gnawed at me. This climb wasn't supposed to be Everest, just a fun birthday challenge. But it felt like battling an invisible current, one that mirrored the new reality of a body that was fighting me. The recent tremors, the inexplicable stiffness, were they just signs of getting older or something more sinister? Was it Parkinson's like the doctors suggested? Below, my wife's voice rose from the jet boat. "You can do it, Jeff." Suddenly it hit me. This climb, this unexpected struggle, mirrored the battle brewing within me, just like the tremor disrupting my grip. Parkinson's, if it was there, was subtly paralyzing me with fear. But a different voice, my own inner warrior, roared to life. "You've got this, Jeff. Get moving." It was the voice that had pushed me through countless challenges, the one that refused to surrender. I looked down and saw the unwavering faith in my wife's eyes and found my courage. Taking a deep breath, I focused on the next handhold, ignoring the tremor. One move at a time, I reminded myself. I pushed on, each conquered handhold a celebration in my mind. This ascent wasn't the quick celebratory leap I'd envisioned. No, this was a battle for every inch, a testament to sheer grit. Yet with each step, the river unfolded beneath me. Reaching the top, the wind whipped at my face, carrying away my anxieties. Below, the river was like glass, smooth and placid. Taking a deep breath, I closed my eyes and I took in the view. My fear replaced by fierce determination. I did it. This wasn't a surrender. It was a defiance. A splash later, the icy water enveloped me. A baptism by nature, washing away my fear and reassuring me that I can do this.
You got this, Jeff! Woo!
I think at the end we were all just cheering for you. I mean, an emotional journey you just took us on. I also want to say, I think it's kind of poetic for today. You took the plunge in that video, but you also took a plunge into trusting, this process and being and sharing this. Um, so thank you. I hope you got something out of it. And
It did. Thank you very much to the foundation for funding this and giving me this opportunity.
well, Jeff, just thank you again for all the people out there who are newly diagnosed and sharing that journey, because we've all been on that same thing of that internal struggle and taking a leap into something. So thank you for showing that to us. Um, the next video is mine. So Amy, what did you get out of this process? I actually had the opportunity to be the first round last year to create a story that was very personal and emotional. And this time round, I wanted to take a turn and try something a little different and show a glimpse of what my day is like. I wanted to show that I'm dictated by a pill. I have to worry about the timing of things and how it affects me and what I need to do that day and how to arrange that all. And as a mother, a working mother, and working parent, I'm sure everybody can relate to this somehow. So that is the little bit about my story. So let's roll tape.
My day is dictated by a little yellow pill. I'm up at 6:30, whether I've had a good night's sleep or not. I have a household to get going. As I rise, I feel the stiffness in my right side. My foot is cramped and contorted. I take my pills right away. 30 minutes for them to kick in. I don't have the time to wait. I need to wake my kids, take the dog out, make breakfast, prep lunches, and get the kids off to school, while my husband, who's the sole provider, gets ready for work. As the kids' bus arrives, so does the relief from my pills. I now have about 2 hours of on time to be productive. I have to figure out how to exercise, walk Watson, grocery shop, have Zoom meetings, and do laundry. My day is scheduled in 3-hour increments, all around my little yellow pill. It's 9:30. I've managed to answer some emails, have breakfast, coffee, and walk the dog. I feel my medication starting to wear off, anxiety creeping in. I'm overstimulated. My mind races. My legs start to shake, my arms stiffen. I feel like I'm swimming through molasses. Time for my little yellow pill. I throw a load of towels into the wash and run out the door for groceries. Shopping at Costco's considered exercise, right? Ooh, can't pass up the $5 rotisserie chicken. It's a fast, easy meal for this mama, especially with school activities tonight. As I load the food into my car, I feel the telltale signs of my meds wearing off. I don't even need to look at my watch. I know it's almost 12:30. Good thing I have my little yellow pills stashed everywhere. Home to eat lunch and crash. I'm so tired. This is a bone-deep exhaustion. I can't do anything but sit and rest. Just as I start to feel restored, the kids burst through the door, already asking what's for dinner. It's little yellow pill time. We rush through dinner to make it to the different school activities. With 3 kids, my husband and I have to divide and conquer. My anxiety is back. I'm getting frazzled by the crowded hallways. I am sweating everywhere. It's so frustrating that I can't keep up with the typical parent routine. Why can't I do this? I'm losing patience. I wish the other parents would just hurry up so I can take my turn. Why don't they know it's little yellow pill time? With bedtime stories done, I can now relax. So why am I still shaking? Oh, yeah. I ate chicken for dinner. Why did I do that? I know better. Even though it interferes with my meds, I can't resist a chicken leg. I'm trying to enjoy my me time, but my body isn't letting me. I am rigid and uncomfortable. I take another pill on the early side, hoping my body will settle for a good night's sleep. Ah, crap! I forgot to flip the laundry.
Well, so that was a little bit about my story. Next up, we have Jeff. No, John, excuse me. I'm sorry, John. We have John. Now, John, you have went through a lot when creating this video because you are in an, I would say, weather disaster prone area and had a lot of ups and downs with it. So what did you learn going through this process and with those challenges you faced?
Uh, I I didn't expect to, kind of like Jeff had, just these emotions that came with making the video. It's easy to kind of like, it's been 5 years for me. It's easy to just kind of go into like autopilot, and this kind of like took me out of it, and it was like, oh no, wait, this is what led you here. And that whole journey just kind of just came out throughout this whole process, the ups and downs.
What did you enjoy about this?
On the flip side, it was kind of nice to have those emotions, those feelings come out of it, because it was therapeutic in some ways to be able to experience kind of the journey all over again.
So what can you tell us about your video?
It's about community. It's about not being alone, that even when you feel like you're alone through all of this, you have somebody there for you.
All right. Well, let's roll tape.
I was 36 years old when I was accidentally diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. I remember going to my neurologist for a check-in for my epilepsy. My appointments with my doctor were always short, sweet, and to the point. Just as my appointment was ending, my doctor asked me the question that would forever change my life. "What's going on with your hand?" "Oh, it's nothing. My hand always shakes like that." I figured it was a side effect from the medicine. More questions followed, until we were in the hall and she was having me walk back and forth. I was stomping and doing these odd tests. Finally, she finished and asked me another question. "Do you know what Parkinson's disease is?" A few blood tests, an MRI, and a DAT scan later, and I would be very familiar with what Parkinson's is. I live in one of the most heavily populated cities in the entire world, but I found myself feeling very alone. It was like I lived in Parkinson's population me. Everywhere I turned, it was older people who had what I had, only it wasn't what I had at all. I was young, with a young kid, and a career I looked forward to. They were old, with grandkids, and were already retired. It made it really hard to process my diagnosis, and on top of that, I was literally out of my mind from the side effects of my epilepsy medication. I was alone and spiraling into a deep depression. I kept trying to handle Parkinson's all by myself. Rather than continue to fall and wait to reach the bottom of a bottomless pit, I reached out to Houston Area Parkinson's Society. I walked into the HAPS offices with a big secret that I needed to get off my chest, but I didn't know how. I sat down at the desk of my social worker and everything just came out. I told her that I recently attempted suicide and that I felt so alone with this disease because I literally felt like the only young person with it. I expected judgment, but instead I was greeted with understanding and compassion. Haps became my shelter from the Parkinson storm. Time has passed since I was diagnosed, and I no longer look around and see age. I see other human beings doing their best. Somehow these strangers that I wrote off became friends, and eventually family. The bonds that brought us together were stronger than the voices in my head that told me we should be apart. Maybe I wasn't alone after all. I participate in exercise classes, run marathons, and live my life to the best of my ability. I've learned that no matter how good or bad I'm doing, I'm not alone. Oh, and I found some people my own age to hang out with too.
Ron, what a powerful story. Thank you for being so honest and vulnerable. And I know that this is going to help somebody out there. And it just tells you the power of community and how this is just something we can't go through alone. And because you made this story, I hope somebody out there can see it and know that they're going to find a community to help them too. So thank you. Next up, we have Denise. So welcome back, Denise. You were sitting next to your husband. It is your turn to share your story. What about your story made you want to share it?
Well, this is a story that I have never talked about truly. And I decided that it has risen up to the level that I probably should, because it looks at my family and the support that I get and all the wild and crazy ideas that I come up with. And I had an idea for 5 years. I would do marathons and 3-day walks. So the marathons were 26.2 and the 3-day walks were 60 in the 3 days. So Bernard and the kids were definitely my companions. I'd like to thank the Brian Grant Foundation, as well as Rani and Holly, for their wonderful patience and listening to cutting down the story to the exact amount of time that we needed. And you'll see a little bit about the support that was given. But Bernard always said, you did the marathon and we did 26.2 miles to keep up with you to give you your supplies. And with that, you can go ahead and share.
The night before, we were served a carb-loaded meal and a speech about marathons. The man they called the Penguin told us, if you compete tomorrow and you cross the finish line, you are a marathoner. Before this, I didn't even know what a marathon was. I was doing this in memory of my mom. That night I was excited and couldn't sleep. It was summer solstice, and the sky still looked like daytime. The next morning, we got on the bus to the marathon. We were equipped for the mosquitoes, and there was a light rain. We were handed trash bags to shield us from the rain, and told within a short period of time we would shed them. We were instructed where to line up. Why first? I'm a marathon newbie. I saw someone climb a ladder, and I heard the gunshot. I told my friend, my goodness, they shot the gun to start the race. This is real. And off we went. I stayed with the pack, listening for cowbells. I didn't want to get lost. At mile 22, I hit the wall. I felt my feet blister. I felt exhausted. I didn't think I could take one more step. I had to remind myself why I was doing this. Dream, believe, have faith. God is with me. I am prepared. I can do it. Dream, believe, have faith. God is with me. I'm prepared. I can do it. It was like the childhood story of the little engine that Mom would read me. I think I can. I think I can. These learnings I had always taken with me throughout my life journey. Over the years, I participated in 3 marathons and 1 3-day walk, all in memory of Mom. One day, out of nowhere, Mrs. Parkinson's arrives and slips in, unannounced, unassuming, and indefinitely. It's hard to give an exact day or time. I remember falling on occasion, being told to pick up my right foot. I had a non-swingy right arm, constipation, insomnia, the feeling of menopause over and over again, and thermal dysregulation, and then finally tremors. They didn't come all at once, but trickled in. Yes, Mrs. Parkinson was making herself at home. I thought about the marathons that I cherished in heart and mind. I may not be able to participate in those marathons anymore, but I decided that Mrs. Parkinson would still have to catch me when she can. I have work to do as a Parkinson's advocate. Dream, believe, have faith. God is with me. I am prepared. I can do it. Dream, believe, have faith. God is with me. I'm prepared. I can do it.
I'm just so filled with joy and hope, and that mantra just repeating in my head. I thank you, Denise, for showing us, yeah, Mrs. Parkinson's doesn't have us. She can keep chasing us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next up we have Shan. Shan, I just wanted to welcome you to our community and thank you for taking this big leap of faith and answering my email and saying, okay, I'm going to join this. So what did you think about the process?
It was really interesting for me. I've written a lot academically, always been the not artistic person, and this felt very artistic to me and is way outside of my comfort zone, but it was just a really great experience and a really cool way to tell the story of how I found purpose in this diagnosis.
That's great. And what made you want to focus on that story itself?
I think honestly, I just couldn't decide what to talk about. So I talked about a bunch of things, and that's where this story process is really cool because as I was talking about a bunch of things, when one hit emotion, everyone went, that's the one. And so apparently the reason I found purpose in it is because it means something to me and it immediately invokes the emotion. And that's how we ended up there.
All right, I can't wait. Let's roll tape.
If you were 70, I'd be comfortable treating you. Because you aren't even 40, I need to transfer your care to a specialist. That is what the neurologist said to me. Right after she told me I have Parkinson's disease. And right before she told me the specialist likely had a year-long wait list. A what list? I'm not even sure I know how to wait. I'm a trained researcher, a corporate leader, a competitive strength athlete, a wife, a board member and advocate in the nonprofit community. Did I mention the fact that I have ADHD and a toddler? Needless to say, down the rabbit hole I went. I read every piece of research I could get my hands on. I scoured the website of every Parkinson's organization I came across. I listened to every episode of every Parkinson's podcast I could find. I started following people with Parkinson's on social media. I started reaching out to anyone who would talk to me. Within 6 months, I had seen multiple movement disorder specialists, a speech therapist, a physical therapist, a neuropsychologist, a motor learning specialist, and a grief coach. and I had what felt like a PhD worth of Parkinson's information in my head. The only answer I couldn't seem to uncover was, how am I going to find meaning in all of this? So, with a head full of random facts and a pocket full of Cinemet, I walked into my local support group. I was caught off guard by the number of people there who felt they had more questions than answers, who felt overwhelmed when trying to find information and resources, who felt let down by the medical system and weren't sure where to turn. These were the 70-year-old people that neurologist was talking about, the ones she doesn't think need specialty care. People who are less likely to be comfortable with technology and finding their own resources, and more likely to be disregarded or left behind. As I sat there, trying to put myself in their shoes, it was everything I could do to maintain my composure. I thought to myself, Parkinson's is hard. We all deserve easy access to relevant information. We all deserve to have someone on our side, listening to what we're experiencing, looking at the bigger picture, helping us find the resources and treatment options that actually work for us. All at once, I was filled with purpose and determination. There was nothing I wanted more than to help them. All of them. This was the meaning I'd been searching for. I could take what I now know, combine it with my unique skills, background, and frankly personality, and create a better option for people with Parkinson's. I could build an organization, one that helps people with Parkinson's identify the best options for them and their unique needs. One that empowers them to confidently take charge of their own health care. I could make a difference. After my diagnosis, it would have been so easy to get lost in asking myself, why me? Although I can't say I'm grateful for Parkinson's, I can confidently say I know the answer to that question. This is why me.
Jan, that gave me shivers. I am just so grateful that you made this, and just one where we talked about that purpose. And I think that's kind of the theme with all of this, is we just want to find some purpose and meaning in this. And you just were able to verbalize that and make it so clear, and you have the know-how to go through with this. And I'm so excited to see what the path in the future holds for you. And it's like, yeah, none of us are thankful for getting Parkinson's, but I'll tell you, because of Parkinson's, I've met the most amazing people with the inspirations and aspirations to make a difference. And thank you for people like you who do that.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express it.
Well, I'm glad you joined our community and you took that leap of faith and made this video. Now, we have one more left because I'm a ham. I made a second video. This actually was derived from our journal club that we do monthly at the Brian Grant Foundation, where we're kind of given prompts and the chance to reflect, and then we share those writings. And the prompt that particular day was, I feel at peace, ... And during that time, I wrote, and afterwards it's just like, this feels like a story or something I want to put some visuals to. And so Ranny and Holly were so accommodating and allowed me to make this second video. So let's roll tape.
I was a wreck, full of anger, feeling like I needed to escape, to somehow outrun this disease. My mind and body were at war. My body tensing up like a rubber band pulled to its limits, ready to snap at any moment. My mind racing in circles, the anxiety making it impossible to focus on anything. Overwhelmed with so many physical and emotional sensations, I was rendered useless. I stood on the shore looking out at the Pacific Ocean, watching the water beat the sand, wave after wave. The roar blocking out all outside noise. I felt the wind whipping my hair in the salty sea air. There is little differentiation between the water and the overcast skies. The colors blending. You can almost not tell the difference between the two. The sweet ocean smells transport me back in time, as a child exploring the tidal pools, chasing the waves in and out, being caked in salt and sand, while my sister and I created masterpieces out of the shells and driftwood. This would be followed by a beach fire where we would roast hot dogs and marshmallows. We would stay to watch the sun set into the ocean. My dad would always say, "Watch closely, and you might see the water boil as the sun dips in." We were so full of joy and innocence. I start to think about my joy of being able to create these carefree memories with my kids, sharing in their curiosity. I am here to escape my reality, but instead, I scream, as loud as I can, venting all the pent-up pain. I was beyond caring if anyone saw me. The Pacific easily swallows up everything that has been poisoning me. The ocean responds wave after wave, telling me how to stay strong and fight. The clouds start breaking over the horizon, creating an altar of light, a glimpse of my angels, showing me the calm after the storm.
All right. That is the end of all of our videos. I'd like to open it up to our panel and say, is there anything you'd like to share or something that surprised you about this process or how you'd like to go forward with these?
I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to learn about myself more than anything. I've learned that writing can be a good outlet for any pain, any emotions that we're all afraid sometimes to share with others. This was a good step in actually sharing my emotions, and I appreciate it.
I'm glad. How many of you are relieved that this is over now? Yeah. Well, I'd say what I find fascinating about going through this process again is, you sometimes get so wrapped up in your own experience that to take a step back and to listen to other stories, and your eyes are opened to the new perspective and their experiences. Yet there's still that underlying theme of community, strength, of support, of fighting, of finding purpose. And I just want to thank you all for taking that jump and sharing that, because I think so many people out there are going to be seeing these and being able to relate and know that they're not alone and how they can somehow get help or find their purpose too. If nobody else has anything else to say, oh yeah, Denise Bernard, please.
I want to thank everyone who's on the screen. You are my inspiration and have got my creative juices going. And I have 1,001 ideas of different videos that I can make. And it's because of each of you sharing a little bit about you, of what people are going through, that more people need to know, because people look at written word, auditory word, spoken word a little bit different. But when you put it all together on a video, it just seems to have an impact. But making it short is what I learned is the best thing in keeping it focused. So I had to say thank you very much to Rainey, especially because the first one I think I had 4 stories in one, and we got it down to 1 story. So this has been my inspiration, and thank you each of you have been so much to me during this process.
So I'd like to add that this was a wonderful bonding experience. And I am committing here, Randy, you heard it, to not let this family slip off. I will be on your doorstep to continue what started during the making of these stories and the sharing and the common bonds we had, on this journey of finding ourselves, or I should say, allowing ourselves to come out. I like to say that, we were all people before we got Parkinson's. Guess what? We're still people after we got Parkinson's. So I look forward to, future episodes. And I even agree to host the first social hour.
Well, Bernard, we're only going to let that happen if you're the chef too.
You might have to eat the video, but
no, what you do, Bernard, is take us on a course and help us, make that while we're all talking.
We're coming to your place. We'll set up the pit. We'll have a great time. Wonderful. I believe.
I got the place.
Yes.
Everybody's welcome.
Yes.
Everybody.
Well, I think we will start wrapping up and let everybody get on to their lunches. This was just an amazing array of stories. Everybody was so honest and powerful, and I thank you for opening up and sharing your experiences. And as I mentioned before, I hope someone out there sees these and can find some comfort and hope. This is what community is all about, and this is how the Brian Grant Foundation hopes to help this community live fulfilling lives. Again, I'd like to thank Ranny and Holly and Story Center Canada, all the storytellers. I mean, you take a big leap of faith when you answer me and you say, okay, I'm going to peel off those layers and expose my vulnerable self. And so I really appreciate you guys doing that. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed watching it. My audience, thank you everybody for joining in and for joining us on this special presentation. I hope everybody has a great day, and that's a wrap.